Okay, so I lied. At the end of Season 3 of the PDL, I said that I was going to be retiring, and when I said that, I fully meant it. But with the extra free time that I had, I honestly was kind of bored, and when I was told this was a Gen 6 draft league, I could not pass up the opportunity to play in it. Gen 6 was when I first started learning competitive Pokemon, but I didn't start playing Draft League until Gen 7, so this was a kind of a new area for me. Like I said, I'm familiar with it, but I've never actually played it. So let's take a look at my team. The Chicago Rookies drafted Mega Lopunny, Clefable, Gliscor, Dragalge, Empoleon, Celebi, Chandelure, Durant, Sneasel, Noivern, and Electros. Like I said, this is a Gen 6 draft league, so like Mega Lopunny does not have close combat, Gliscor doesn't learn spikes, Empoleon still has the Defiant ability and doesn't learn Roost. There's also no heavy duty boots, so Chandelure has a hard time with rocks, which is things like Gliscor and Empoleon have to worry about defogging. But overall, I'm really happy with the team. I'm not going to go too in deep with breaking it down. I don't have too much time, but I'm going to get into our opponent's team and then the team I'm bringing to the battle, and let's hop into our week 1. So this week, the Chicago Rookies are taking on Coach Crampa. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Coach of the Montana Meganiums. And their team is Landorus, Therian, Jirachi, Rotom-Wash, Weavile, Whimsicott, Hitmontop, Porygon 2, Goodra, Volcarona, Diancie, and Mega Banette. So the first thing I noticed about this team was Mega Lopunny is faster than my opponent's entire team. And so I'm running a very standard set of Fake Out, Return, High Jump Kick, and Ice Punch. I can freely run the normal and fighting moves since Mega Banette no longer immune to them since I have Scrappy. The only thing I have to be careful for is the Volcarona with Flame Body. Return still does a ton of damage to it, but the burn will negate a lot of Lopunny's damage and pretty much make it useless at that point. But it's a risk I'm willing to take because it threatens so much of my opponent's team otherwise. They do have 2 Intimidators, and unfortunately Scrappy does not block Intimidate in this generation, but Ice Punch still does a ton to Landorus, and High Jump Kick or Return does a ton to Hitmontop. Next up we have Dragalge. My opponent does not have a grounded Poison type, and their only way to remove hazards is Hitmontop. So I wanted to bring Toxic Spikes to try to take advantage of that. Even though there's a few Pokemon like Landorus, Jirachi, and Rotom that aren't affected by Toxic Spike, a lot of the other ones like Porygon 2 and Goodra, who are pretty bulky Pokemon, do take damage from that, and so that'll start to rack up on them. I'm running Draco Meteor and Sledge Wave for dual stab with adaptability, and then my last move is Shadow Ball to hit the Jirachi since that is resistant or immune to Draco Meteor or Sledge Wave. And we're running Max Spadef to maybe hopefully take on the Volcarona if needed. Third, we have Choice Scarf Chandelure. So Pursuit is in Gen 6, so I have to be careful of Weavile using Pursuit, and so that's why I'm using Choice Scarf, so I will be faster and can knock it out with Flamethrower. Energy Ball is for the Rotom, Hidden Power Ice is for Landorus, and then Shadow Ball is just for general stab. If the Porygon 2 doesn't come, there is no resist to Shadow Ball on this team, except for Weavile, but we don't really count that as a resist, especially if we have Stealth Rocks up. Speaking of Stealth Rocks, we have Empoleon, whose whole goal this week is to set up Stealth Rocks. We have the Shuka Berry to be able to take an Earthquake, whether it's from Landorus or from the Hitmontop or Goodra. Stealth Rock, Scald, Toxic, Defog. I don't want too many hazards on my side of the field either, because Chandelure doesn't like taking rocks, so if they get them up before I get mine up, I'll be able to defog them away. Toxic is for like the Porygon 2 or the Goodra if I'm not able to get Stealth Rock up, or Toxic Spike up, I mean. And then Scald is for the Landorus, and just hitting things generally, hoping for burns. Bringing a Fizdev, Calm Mind, Clefable. This does a ton of damage, and honestly, not too many good answers to this thing. Outside of Jirachi, I do have to be careful of that. It can flinch me down with Iron Head, but outside of Calm Mind, I'm running Soft Boiled for healing, and then Moonblast and Flamethrower. Those 2 moves hit everything. And then Magic Guard so we don't take toxic damage or hazards or anything like that. And in the last slot, we have Assault Vest Electros. This thing has a very interesting moveset. Rock Slide is there for the Volcarona. Don't want that thing setting up. It's a huge threat. This is our main answer to it. Knockoff is for the Jirachi, and then Drain Punch hits the Weavile very hard, as well as the Porygon 2, and then Hidden Power Ice for the Landorus. Very odd moveset, don't have stab, but didn't really find it too necessary this week. So that is the team for week 1 of season 4 of the PDL. If you enjoy, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the battle. Okay, so my opponent brings Banette, Landorus, Rotom, Weavile, Jirachi, and Porygon Z. First thing I notice is no Hitmontop, so I instantly want to try to get my hazards up, both Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes. I think my best lead option here is Empoleon and just getting my rocks up. It can live any one hit. It can get a Toxic off if the Porygon leads. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so they lead Rotom-Wash. I am Spadef, so I can take a Thunderbolt or a Volt Switch here. So I'm just gonna put up my Stealth Rocks. All right, that does 39%. So It's definitely got some special attack investment. Not max, but some. But now these rocks are up for the game. It's going to hit everything. That Weavile is going to take 25% when it comes in. And with my Shukaberry, I can take an Earthquake here. So I'm actually going to Scald. It does over half, and 30% chance to burn is fantastic. They just U-turn out, so I'm going to get a Scald off on something. A burn on the Rotom wouldn't be bad, but we don't get it. This Empoleon, I don't really need it to stay in, so I think I'm just going to Toxic here. Alright, they get me with the Thunderbolt, but that's perfectly fine. I'm not too concerned. I can just send out Lopunny now and get a free Fake Out. Or I can go Dragalge here and get Toxic Spikes. I like that play a lot, so I'm going to set up my Toxic Spikes here. They're probably going to go out into either Jirachi or Landorus. Alright, and I go Chandelure on this. Jirachi is a problem for me, but this is faster, so. And I'm just going to click Flamethrower here because I can't freely click Shadow Ball with that Porygon being around. Okay, so they are Scarf Jirachi. Good to know. I can just send out Clefable here. Clefable eats these hits. I do have to watch for the flinch, but I think Zen Headbutt only has 20%, so with Ring Grace, it's 40% chance. Porygon gets poisoned, which is fantastic. It won't do any damage here, though, due to the Magic Guard. I'm just going to Calm Mind. I don't really know what this does since I'm Magic Guard. I'm going to Flamethrower now. I don't want that Jirachi to switch in, which is what exactly came in. Alright, did about 50. Not bad. Probably an Iron Head here. Electros takes Iron Heads all day, so I'm going to go Electros here. And then Knockoff is free here. It knocks this out, and then it gets rid of any items, but Net doesn't want to take it, really. Getting rid of leftovers on this is great. And now I'm just going to Drain Punch. That does the most damage. I'm going to get some recovery back. I don't want this to get worn down, like, too bad. So I'm going to go Dragalge. Dragalge eats hits up. I don't want to click Sludge Wave. I'm going to just click Shadow Ball. Because if Porygon comes out, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not worried about this thing. Even with the adaptability, it doesn't do a ton here, so I'm going to Sludge Wave. Dragalge is so bulky. I want to keep Chandelure. I'm going to go Clefable. Because if they recover, it gives me another chance to Calm Mind. I'm going to Flamethrower once, though, on the Jirachi. Possibly coming in. Ooh, that does a lot. And that Para is really bad. I'm going to go Chandelure here. Just because that does so much damage. And I don't want to risk Clefable. And now I get a Flamethrower here. And it'll knock out anything that comes in. Alright, they let Porygon die. Jirachi probably comes out here. Since it's Choice Scarf. Yep. And I don't know what to let go here. Because I assume that Weavile has Ice Shard. And that kills. So I don't want to, like, save this, I don't think. But at the same time, Clefable being paralyzed almost just doesn't make it useful. Because getting full para just is over for it. But what do I do once I sack Clefable? I mean, at least figuring out what it's going to go for kind of helps, I guess. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Clefable here. We're at the exact same health that we took last time, so probably just a roll. I'm going to Flamethrower. Oh my goodness, we didn't get flinched. Getting rid of that Jirachi was huge. Clefable, you demon. Lopunny goes in now, too. I'm going to Soft Boil just on the off chance. Alright, well the Rotom now dies to rocks, so that's totally fine with me. Very close battle. Fake Out does a ton to this thing. because it probably has Shadow Sneak. Yeah, I go low punny here. I just fake out. Might have Protect. I gotta watch the second turn for the Will-O-Wisp. I don't want to get burned. Okay, so this has got Bulk. Dragalge is no longer useful since it just doesn't have good physical bulk, so I'm going to go it here. It doesn't care about being burned. Ooh, Destiny Bond. All right, I see you. He is faster, so I don't have to worry. I'm gonna Sledge Wave here. Ooh, 10% poison. Okay. I go Electros on this. The really only thing it can do is U-turn. Okay, gets rocks up, so Chandelure is now dead, but that's not the end of the world, because I figured that Banette has Shadow Sneak, and then that Weavile has Ice Shard, so it is what it is. I'm just gonna knock off here. Get rid of an item. I wouldn't be shocked if they just Saccharode him here. Yeah, that was the best play. I don't know if I die here unless it's like Choice Banded. If it's Life Orb, it kills as well. Alright. Go low punny here. Return knocks this out, so I'm not going to risk the high jump kick. Alright, there goes Landorus. And then this turn, I sack my Chandelure to the rocks. I want to get Fake Out. Oh, it dies. Okay, so it was in range there. So then I just Fake Out into Return, and I knock out this Weavile. That was close. I think I just knock it out with Fake Out here, possibly. Poison takes it out. So, wow, those Toxic Spikes did a ton there. Not bringing Hitmontop was crazy. I was also really worried about the Volcarona, but, I mean, I get it. If the one didn't come, like, without Hitmontop, Volcarona doesn't stand a chance here with Stealth Rocks, so it kind of makes sense. But GG to my opponent. I'm glad to start off the season 1-0, and hopefully that can continue. So I will see you guys all next week. Drop a like, subscribe if you enjoyed. Peace.